Hi everyone, and congratulations on making it to the end of ESL 3-4, session 5. We will have some conversation classes for the intersession, but we will be back officially for the fall session June 4th, for first live meets June 7th and 8th. So there's some extra forms this week. Please fill them out in Google Classroom. This week is a review week, so we have looked at all of the topics we have covered, especially using the present perfect tense to discuss when we have done something in the past. And we've used a lot of different terms with this tense. And so this slide deck will kind of go over those different terms that we have covered, sense and for. In here, we have our definitions of sense versus for and each of the topics that follow. So sense is, here we have our definite. So in here, we'll have our explanation slides for the different topics, such as sense versus for. Sense is for a specific point in the past, a date, a time, a year, and duration is for the amount of time. And we use that with our present perfect tense to create some questions and responses, read them over, right? And go through the slide deck and just review the topics that we have learned over the last 2 weeks, the last 2 months, and fill in the blanks with the right terms. We discussed recently and lately. Recently is for actions that have already happened, and lately is for ongoing events. Review that, look at some of our scenarios about the different characters using recently and lately, and then read over some of our example sentences and fill in the blanks with the terms in the box. Too much, too many, too little, and enough were also discussed this session. So we want to know if we have a sufficient amount or an amount that is not sufficient, the amount that is as much as we need, more than how much we need, or less than the amount we need. So review this topic and say, is it too much or too many? Thinking about quantities. Also, we discussed that in class. There are some fill in the blanks. And there are some answers following it. Don't look at the answers now. We'll discuss before and after, and we'll fill in, did something happen before or after? That's pretty easy, right? But then take the time to talk about yourself. We'll discuss already and yet. Yet is often used to ask questions, and already is to respond. So review that topic. Look at the scenarios, and then think about filling in the blank. And then this session, we also covered modal verbs, could, would, and should. Should is for that obligation to give a recommendation or an opinion. So you should treat all people with respect. Could is for possibilities, this or that. I could have fruit, or I could have candy, but I should have fruit because that's the right thing. That's a healthy thing. And we talked about would. Would is for your intention or your desire, what you would want to do, what you would wish for what you plan to do in the future. You can we said you could think about it as a wish. So what would you do if you had 3 wishes? You know, I would wish for a girlfriend. I would like many healthy children. Like, my intention is this. I desire that, right? And so we give some different scenarios in here. So we ask you, what should he do? You can use these. Just ask that question. Should should he replace the dipstick when he is finished checking the levels? You would say, yes, he should replace the dipstick, right? It's obvious. So just use them to generate some of your own sentences, your own thoughts. What should people do? And then that will be the end of the slide deck for this week. It's been a pleasure being with you. All right, bye, y'all.